In a very similar way as in the previous exercise, we can create a filter that will allow the end user to select the start date and the end date and find all of the elements between those two dates. And once again, the trick is to use a slicer as a bridge. So let's first create a simple pivot table showing, for example, sum of sales for regions. We can see that on grand total it accounts for 31 million, and we need to check that because in a second it's going to be filtered somehow. Then we can copy and paste next to it a pivot table and throw away everything and place there only the order date. But we don't want the order date to be grouped. It's better for us to ungroup the order date and to keep it to the source level as we have. Then let's insert another slicer. This might be a timeline slicer or a simple slicer by the order date. It doesn't matter. The clue in here is that the slicer is going to be connected once again to all the pivot tables on the same report. And it will become a bridge between what we pick on the row labels and what's going to happen with the pivot table with regions and sum of sales. Right now we can once again hide the slicer, although I will do it in a second, because it's better first to test the whole solution. And we need to teach the end user to go for the date filter and pick just the between option, and then we can easily select the start date, like for example 2014, let's say 0401, and it should end at 2014 0430. After hitting OK, we get the data in a pivot table filtered because of the bridge coming from the slicer that we can see. Slicer can be hidden once again, we don't need to see it on the report. And what is more, we can of course change the labels, the naming, for example, say choose between, and we can also turn off the grand totals and format somehow the cells to not to show too much values.